It's Tuesday, February 18th.
Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
Harrowing moments in the aftermath of a crash at Canada's busiest airport that caused this plane to flip upside down.
And then everybody was just like, get out, get out, get out. We could smell like jet fuel. Even now I smell like jet fuel.
Quick escape. 80 people on board were in shock as they scrambled out of the plane. 18 people are hurt from this crash.
Emotional and people are tired, but they're doing the best they can for everyone's safety.
And airports backlogged. It could take days for air travelers to get where they're going with flights delayed or canceled because of the crash.
I feel like Lewis and Clark on the first frontier. Like, I'm fighting for my life. I'm going to like a cafe to study because all the libraries are closed.
The Big Dig, a massive snow removal operation underway right now after a historic dumping of snow in Montreal. The Toronto and Ottawa areas also cleaning up this morning. Stay with us, Canada. Your morning starts right now. Good morning, Canada. Welcome to Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
Good morning. I'm Lindsey Deluce.
And I'm Kelsey McEwen. Hope your Tuesday is off to a great start.
It is Tuesday. Whoa, snow.
Holy moly.
Oh.
My back is still sore because we don't have a snowblower, so it's all manual labor on my part. And Jay and Matt were at a hockey tournament, so they were snowed in and couldn't get home.
Wow.
And so I was on shoveling duty. And man, oh man, that was, we had in our area almost 40 centimeters of snow.
So intense.
So much snow.
So intense. We are going to get to that and the big cleanup in just a moment, but let's talk about that plane crash. Passengers are sharing harrowing stories from the crash at Pearson Airport that left at least 18 people hurt.
Everything, drop it. Come on.
So this video you're looking at was taken by one of the passengers on board. It shows the frantic moments inside the plane after the crash. During an update last night, officials now say they're not aware of anyone being critically injured. There were 76 passengers and 4 crew members on this flight. This was a Delta flight, 4819 from Minneapolis to Toronto. One of the passengers, John Nelson, spoke about what happened as the plane crash landed and ended up upside down.
When we hit, it was just a super hard, like I hit the ground and the plane went sideways. And I believe we skidded like on our side and then flipped over on our back.
I can't even imagine. Then you get outside and you see the plane, right? Nelson said there was another explosion after everyone got off the plane. 6 fire engines, 18 paramedic crews, along with airport staff responding. The plane was doused as it laid on its back on the runway as people were moved to safety. This investigation, obviously in its early stages, airport officials are expected to give another update a little later on today.
Clear to land, 23, Endeavour, 4890. This airplane just crashed, 23.
We just landed.
That is audio from air traffic control. You can hear the flight was cleared to land. There was a weekend snowstorm, as we know, in the Toronto area, but officials say at the time of the crash, the runway was dry and there were no crosswind conditions.
This is an active investigation. It's very early on. It's really important that we do not speculate.
The plane involved is a Canadian-made Bombardier CRJ900. It is commonly used for short-haul flights around the world. Transport Canada is leading this investigation. U.S. National Transportation Safety Board has put together a team to assist as well. So this crash happened at Canada's busiest airport, causing a ripple effect of delays that will take days to clear.
Definitely stressful. A lot of people are definitely frustrated, definitely very angry, which I can understand, but I mean, times like this, you kind of have to keep a cool head.
All flights in and out of Pearson Airport were put on hold in the hours after the crash. Planes were diverted to Ottawa and Montreal. causing slowdowns at those airports as well. Air traffic at Pearson picked up again at around 5 o'clock, about 3 hours after the crash. 2 runways at the airport will stay shut down for the next few days, which will impact travel further. Numerous flights are showing as delayed or canceled this morning at Pearson as the airport works to clear the backlog. Well, the other big story, the big dig is on in eastern Canada after a weekend of wild, snowy weather.
There's no place to put the snow. It's just, it is what it is.
It's a weather event. We're all doing the best we can.
Yeah, snow removal. Oh, let's talk about it. The operations are underway after back-to-back snowstorms that dropped nearly half a meter of snow in just 5 days. So the city of Toronto says it could take up to 3 weeks to get rid of it all. The major snowstorm condition they declared last Wednesday remains in effect. That means parking is still banned on snow routes and all streetcar routes as well.
I don't go to gym. I don't need a gym. This is kind of a nice workout for free.
So true. In Ottawa, a similar story. 37 centimeters fell on Sunday alone. This is the biggest cleanup operation the city has seen in years. Officials say it'll take 2 to 3 weeks to dig out. They have deployed 500 pieces of equipment with a focus on clearing bus stops and parking lots. Via Rail commuters have been affected as well. Several cancellations in Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City.
We got in less than 5 days, almost 40% of all the snow we're usually getting in the winter.
Wow. In Montreal, the city says it's going to take 8 days to clear snow after more than 70 centimeters fell in those storms. To make it a bit easier, the city of Montreal won't be collecting garbage and recycling this week. They're also asking people not to leave garbage bags out in the snow. Obviously, they can freeze, slow down the removal process. Environment Canada says that while the 2 storms weren't record-breaking on their own in Montreal, it was the most snow ever recorded in a 4-day period in the city since records began in 1941. It's been a different kind of cleanup in the Halifax area.
You've been at it for a while?
For a while, yeah.
What are the conditions like?
Horrible. Lots of snow everywhere, lots of ice. It's hard to walk around. It's hard to shovel it all.
A shortage of road salt is making it difficult to deal with the thick ice left behind after 2 winter storms moved through Atlantic Canada. Meanwhile, thousands of people in the Maritimes are without power this morning because of strong, damaging winds. Wind warnings remain in effect for PEI in parts of Nova Scotia. Kelsey has a lot to talk about, so she's going to do that coming up in our national weather forecast. Canada, we have our rematch.
Here goes Soros. Extra skater on. Big hit on Granlund. At center by Crosby. Shoots for the empty net and scores!
Thank goodness, because it was looking dicey. Sidney Crosby scoring on the empty net as Canada beat Finland 5-3 at the Four Nations face-off. The win sets up a rematch with the U.S. in the final after Saturday night's 3-1 loss to the Americans. Finland scoring 3 times with their goalie pulled before Sidney Crosby stepped up to score that empty netter. Nathan McKinnon had 2 goals, Connor McDavid and Braden Point also scoring for Canada.
Here's Nylander. Score! Jesper Bratt!
Shot. As for the U.S., they fell 2-1 to Sweden in the other Four Nations face-off game. The U.S. was shorthanded for this one, missing Matthew Tkachuk and Austin Matthews, who had minor injuries. Despite not making the final, Sweden was the only team that didn't lose in regulation in the tournament. The Canada-U.S. final goes Thursday night at 8 p.m. A broken piece of asphalt in Havana has resulted in a unique urban garden. Interesting. This has been going on for 3 years. Banana plants growing through the broken pavement. A couple that lives nearby tends to this impromptu garden. While they'd rather have the road fixed, they say they appreciate the free source of fruit.